Hey, gang. This is a very important time to be considering justice in our punishment system. Uh, there's been some big news about who's been charged with what and not charged with other things, but I can't just start talking about the news or I won't have time to talk about Chapter 2. So, on with the lesson. So, Chapter 2 is all about deterrence. Here we have a very clear aim. Here we're talking about preventing crime. Where retributivism was more backwards looking, it's the crime is in the past, so we have to punish you for it now. It's much more deontological. Deterrence is forward looking. We are punishing now to prevent crime in the future at some later date. Which way is I use for past and future? Whatever, it doesn't matter. This is a very utilitarian way of looking at things. We are punishing because we want certain results. We're more concerned about the outcomes. We're not doing it because we're supposed to. So, it's another good one that makes a lot of good sense. Like, fear of punishment or consequences is going to keep people from breaking the law. I mean, we see the same thing with parents and how they raise their children. It's like, I know I got spanked as a kid and I turned out great. And I certainly never did anything wrong ever again. Actually, you know what? Maybe that's a terrible example. But still, we assume people will make a rational choice, that the burdens of the punishment outweigh the benefits of the crime. Actually, wait a minute. That's already a problem. Do they? Like, some crimes are just crimes of passion where you're not concerned about what happens afterwards, or you're not thinking about it anyway. And sometimes the cost of punishment, filtered through like the chances you won't get caught, is much lower than the benefits of the crime. So let's come back to that in a minute. I like this Plato quote on page 36 that says, "It is appropriate for everyone who is subject to punishment rightly inflicted by another either to become better and profit from it, or else be made an example to others, so that when they see him suffering whatever it is he suffers, they may be afraid and become better." We've got two big ideas here. One we'll call micro-deterrence. This is where the individual who was punished realizes, oh no, don't want to do that again, and becomes a law-abiding citizen afterwards. This is also called specific deterrence. Specific to the one person being punished. They are now deterred going forward. But there's also macro deterrence, Plato's idea about the punishee serving as an example to others. So everyone sees it, and everyone else is like, oh shit, I better not do that. So, punishing the criminal makes everyone else less likely to then commit crimes. This is also known as general deterrence, as in the general populace is being deterred. So, there's also the idea of incapacitation, where you can't do more crime if you're locked up. This is really a specific deterrence kind of idea. You can't lock up literally everyone. But there's also some problems here, like crime still happens in jails. I've seen Orange is the New Black. I know what's up. Anyway, what about desert? We spent so much time with retributivism, talking about punishing people who deserve it. So here we're punishing people just to keep them from doing crime. We don't care about desert. And that kind of frees us to ponder some interesting possibilities. Namely, we can punish really, really harshly if we want to, or really lightly if that's enough to deter. So, like, steal an apple, cut your fucking hands off, you're not stealing anything anymore. Or death. Nobody's stealing apples anymore, especially not the dead guy. How's that for incapacitation? Anyway, talk back to a cop, dead. Have an ex who dealt drugs, dead. Note that these are no longer jokes. point is, taken to the extreme, why would we put any limits on punishment if it works in deterring crime? So even the innocent, if we punish an innocent person, doesn't that still make other people not do the crime? Does that still work for the justification of general deterrence? And we also have the problem of the undeterrable. These are people who just don't give a fuck and are still going to commit the crimes that they want to commit anyway. No, like, doesn't matter how much you punish them, they don't care. They're going to do it. So how do we deal with them? Well, we can still punish them. We can still put them in jail for the general deterrence part and deter the people who are afraid of the punishment. And as for the actual undeterrable person, well, incapacitation or just kill them. That'll stop their criminal career, I reckon. Another problem is the problem of difference. So people are different. So different punishments will have different deterrent effects on different people. Not to mention that societies generally change over time. And so what deterred the general populace well today may not work tomorrow. I mean, do we want to punish two different people for the same crime in different ways? That seems to be a problem of fairness. It's not fair to punish different ways the same crime. So we gotta ask, with all these problems and dangers, does deterrence actually work? Can we justify these punishments? In short, kind of, maybe. There's some tenuous connection between harsher punishments and less crime, but not enough to hang your hat on, not at all. Like, you can look at 3 strikes laws in certain places where it gets harsher and harsher every time you commit a crime, and it doesn't seem to have that big of an impact. In fact, what crime reduction there has been could just as easily be the result of other factors, like rising economic indicators. When there's less poverty, there's generally less crime. So, do we even need to be punishing to get these results of lower crime? Does it have any effect? Some, maybe. There's even some suggestion that putting people in jail is in fact criminogenic, meaning it makes more crime since they're in there with a bunch of other criminals. So they're learning about fun new ways to commit crime. And then, on top of that, their lives have been immensely impacted. They may have lost their jobs or even the chance at future employment. They probably might have lost their social circles or safety net, etc., etc. Another problem is that deterrence relies on the knowledge of the people being deterred. If they don't know what things are illegal and what the punishments are for them, how are they supposed to be deterred? So, like, if you don't know what your mama hit you for, then all you've learned is not to trust authority, which is a good lesson. But most people do not know the law. That's part of why lawyers are even a thing. I mean, I probably break at least 3 laws every single day on the way to work. But I couldn't tell you what they are. And that's the problem. We also don't know every single person that does get punished for what crime or how likely we are to get caught. There's just a whole lot of guesswork going on. So, I shouldn't have thrown the book away. There's another quote I want to bring up, because John Stuart Mill has another one here. Another problem is that the preventive function of government, however, is far more liable to be abused. If deterrence is our justifying aim, our justification of punishment, couldn't the state abuse that really easily? couldn't they say like, well, we don't want, we don't want people doing drugs, so let's put all these drug users in jail? Just as an example, I don't know. So, lots of problems here. Deterrence, like retributivism, sounds pretty good and makes a lot of sense if you don't think about it at all, which a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of us just take those reasons for punishment kind of for granted. It's very common sense, and I mean, if it works, cool. That is a justification. But not only does it raise a lot of philosophical problems, we don't actually have conclusive proof that it even works, micro or macro. So far, it seems to be a good way to win elections, talking about being tough on crime. But read Chapter 2. Figure out how deterrence advocates answer some of these problems that have been raised in this video and in the book. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.